My channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys two patterns of cutting out a pocket. It's a side seam pocket. So we're going to start with the first one, guys. The easiest one is just to put your hand and then you figure out how you're going to draw it out, like how much room you will need. So for me, that would be something like this, but just try to give it some space outside of it. So you're going to just draw it out, and then after drawing it out this way, then you're going to come down here. As you can see, I left about half an inch here for my seam allowance here. I'm also going to give it another half an inch here by the end here, and then I'm going to connect it down this way. So that's basically it. I'm going to mark about 3 inches away from here, somewhere here, bring it down this way, and then I'm going to connect it this way. So this here is going to be my pocket now. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do is to draw in seam allowance here. So I'm going to just draw in like about half an inch of seam allowance all the way around. So guys, this is how you draw your pocket. You can check if your phone can fit into it. Just check. You can make yours bigger, like I said. If you put your hand, you can try to make it bolder than this. So this is just it here. So you see my phone can fit perfectly into it. And then the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut it out. So guys, this is what I like to use when, like, if I want to insert it in a dress or a skirt, and I normally like to use this. So basically, I like to have about 5.5 or about 6 inches room here so that my hand can fit in properly. That's it, excluding the seam allowance. You can see the seam allowance here and then the seam allowance here. So all this will be sewn down at this point here. So I make sure to have the distance from here to here about 5 or 6 inches, because remember, it's going to be fitting in this way. So when you slide your hand, you don't want it to be too you don't want the opening to be too small, but you want this part here to be deep. So if you want it deeper than this, you always have to extend this part so that once you dip your hand in, it goes in here. So you see how it's going to look here. Once you sew it in, it looks like this. So you're going to cut 2 patterns of this here, one on each side. So there will be one here, there will be one here, and then your hand goes in from this side into the pocket. I'll still cut this out on a pattern. So now this is the one I like to use on a pant for the same side seam pocket. It depends on you if you want, because I'm going to be making a trouser with this particular one. So it depends on you. If you want, you can also use this for a trouser. It doesn't matter. But I just find that this sometimes can get a little bulky depending on the type of pants you're making. So I'm going to just show you guys how I cut the one for the trouser. So first, I like to trace out about half an inch on this end here, which is like my seam allowance again, just like we did before. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this edge here. I'm going to mark it again about half an inch on this end, and then I'm just going to start from this, maybe coming by about 3 inches somewhere here, and then I'm going to just mark it down this way. Just give it like, it doesn't have to be a straight line, just mark it down this way, right? Just something like this, right? And then I'm going to come down the same opening again for my pocket, and then I'm going to come down on this side about, because remember, for your pants, most times the pocket doesn't start immediately after the waistband. So let's say this part here goes into my waistband. I'm just going to come down about 2 inches from here, or 1 inch from here. This is where my hand is going to fit into the pocket, and then I'm going to mark extra 5 inches for the opening of the pocket. And then from this point now, I'm now going to give it the room for the pocket like this. So just like this here. This is how I'm going to mark this one. So if you want, you can make this line a little bit like straight. It doesn't have to look this way. You can just make it straight a little and then bob it a little at the end, just like that. So this part here, remember your pants, let's say my pants, the band of my pants starts here, but the opening of my pocket comes down 1 inch or 2 inches, or 1.5, sorry, not 2 inches, 1.5 before that. Then my opening for the pocket comes in there. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut it, but like we did for the previous one, I'm also going to give it the seam allowance. Just mark like half an inch all over again. So that's basically it. As you can see, I've given it the same. So if I put my hand in here, like I said before, 5 inches is okay. 5 inches will work perfectly. Put your hand in here, you see it fits here. The reason I like to give it this top part on the pocket is because I like to sew it down, because you don't want it flapping like this inside of your clothes. It can move to the back, it can move to the front. But once you give it this room and sew it down on the band of your pant, then you know that you've made it in such a way that it's always going to face the front side. Like, this is not a skirt where you say, okay, if it moves backward, you can always flip it forward. Like if it's inside of a gather skirt, so you can always move it around. But with this one here, I like to sew it down with the band of the pant. It helps it move facing the front side of the pant, and then that way it doesn't move and it doesn't give you a lot of bulk. So guys, just like this here, you have the one for your the pant. So all you have to do is just to know that the seam is going to come down up to this point, and then this part is going to be open. Your side seam will come down following this line, and then this part is going to be open, and then you close it up again at this end here. So remember, like I said, you're going to cut 2 pieces of each of them. That's how you're going to do it. So guys, I've gone ahead and cut out this. Like I said, you're going to cut out 2 pieces of it, and then this is what I did here. So as you can see, I'm taking this to be the part where you want to insert the pocket. You can even insert the pocket in a cloth that is already made. You just rip the side seam and then insert this pocket like a dress that is already made. You can always rip the side seam, the opening about the 5 inches that you want to use for the opening of the hand, and then just like that you're going to sew it down. So this is what it looks like here. So you see, this is one side of the cloth, and then you see what I did here. I just sewed down this side. So this is the side you sew down. This part that I wrote opening, this line here, which is about the 5 inches here, you're going to sew it down just like that. Sew it down on one side and do the same thing on this side too. I did the same thing here. So now all I have to do is to join the 2 of them together like this, right? And then close back up my seam coming from the top, close it down this way, close it right around, come back up here. Using that 5 inches, I'm going to close it down. Let me show you guys again, just like that. You see what it looks like here. You're going to start from this top part here, close it up, close it round, right round, and come back up here again. So that's how you're going to close this up. So guys, this is it here. As you can see, I've sewn it down, and then I close it up all the way around. If you want, you mustn't do this for this particular method, this one here, because there are 2 patterns here. This first pattern, you can just mark it down this way, right, straight across, and just keep this top part here like this. So it can also look something like this for the first pattern. You mustn't have that corner there, because you're not going to be attaching it at the top part. Like if you don't want to sew it down to the seam of wherever you're attaching it on. Like if this is a dress now, this would fit perfectly. But this one for a trouser, you want to sew it down to the band of whatever you're using for it. So if you want, you can skip that part here and just mark it down this way. So this is what, but you don't want it too close. You don't want to bring it down so close like this, maybe somewhere here. No, because when you put your hand, it will be tight on top of your hand. So that's it for this one here. So this is what it looks like. You see, I sewed the 2 sides. There are 2 pieces of it here. So once I insert my hand into the pocket, it looks like this. Like I said, you mustn't make your pocket so fitted this way. You can still give it some room. So this is what mine looks like. And then this is like how it's attached. This is the outer part like this. You see what it looks like here. So that's basically it here. This is the second one. This is the other one. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.